Good afternoon, and welcome to New England Law Boston's 110th Commencement. Please stand now for our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. My name is Diana Wheeler, and I am Chairman of the Board of Trustees of New England Law Boston. It is my privilege to call to order the 110th commencement of this law school. I congratulate each of you graduates for the class of 2021 for your achievement, earning a Juris Doctor or a Master's of Law degree. We are very proud of each of you and wish you and your families all the best on this happy day. We are honored today to have Reverend J. Brian Hare deliver the Invocation and Benediction. Reverend Hare will be introduced later in the program. I call on Reverend Hare to lead us in prayer. Will everyone please rise?
Good afternoon. As we gather on this day of joyous occasion, which recognizes the accomplishments of the graduating class from the law school this afternoon that has carried them into the legal profession, something so fundamental to our democracy. As an invocation, I offer you two brief statements from two clerics of the 19th century, one of them from Boston, one of them from London. I offer them as reflections on your road ahead in the important role of the legal system of the United States. The first comes from William Ellery Channing, a 19th century Unitarian minister here in Boston, who once wrote what he called My Symphony, a reflection on a philosophy of life. He said this: to live content with small means, to seek elegance rather than luxury, and refinement rather than fashion, to be worthy, not respectable, and wealthy, not rich, to study hard, think quietly, talk gently, act frankly, to listen to stars and birds, to babes and sages with an open heart, to bear all cheerfully, do all bravely, await occasion, never hurry. This is my symphony. The second is a prayer rather than a reflection. It is from John Henry Cardinal Newman, an English cardinal of the Catholic Church. Newman said this about the way to think about one's life and vocation. God has created me to do some definite service. He has committed some work to me which he has not committed to another. I have my mission. I may never know it in this life, but I shall be told it in the next. I have a part in a great work. I am a link in a chain, a bond of connection between persons. He has not created me for nothing. I shall do good. I shall do his work. I shall be an angel of peace, a preacher of truth in my own place, while not intending it, if I do but keep his commandments and serve him in my calling. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Hare. Please be seated. Before we proceed with the ceremony, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge some of the most important people in this room. While the graduates of the class of 2021 are the stars of today, without those whom I am about to recognize, they would not have achieved all that they have accomplished. I'm referring to the New England Law faculty, one of the nation's finest faculties. I would like to ask all the members of the faculty that are with us today to stand, and let us give them and the faculty that are viewing via live stream our thanks. I'm a 1990 graduate, and all these years I've been so impressed with our faculty. We really are privileged to have the finest faculty. One more important person is not with us here today. That's our beloved chairman for 13 years, Martin Foster. He passed away last summer. He was our friend, and we miss him. It is now my pleasure to introduce Scott P. Brown, CEO, President, and Dean of New England Law Boston. Dean Brown served for almost 4 years as former ambassador to New Zealand and the independent state of Samoa. He brings to New England law deep expertise in both public and private sector, with over 30 years of public service as a diplomat, political leader, attorney, military officer, and public figure. He began his public service career as an assessor and selectman for the town of Wrentham, Massachusetts, then served as the Massachusetts State Representative for the 9th Norfolk District, then served as State Senator for the Norfolk, Bristol, and Middlesex District. In 2010, he won a special election to fill the term of the late U.S. Senator Ted Kennedy. During his time as a senator, Dean Brown was known as a problem solver, and for his entire term, he was listed as the most bipartisan senator in the U.S. Senate. He was the ranking member on the Armed Services Committee and the Committee on Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs. He was also a member of the Veterans Committee and the Committee on Small Business. For nearly 4 decades, Dean Brown served in the enlisted and officer ranks of the Massachusetts and Maryland National Guard. He retired as a colonel after a tour as the deputy to the chief counsel to the chief of the National Guard Bureau at the Pentagon. During his legal career, Dean Brown had a successful practice and enjoyed family and probate law, all aspects of real estate law, trusts in estates, mergers and acquisitions, and government relations. He last worked with Peabody & Nixon LLP in Boston. The dean has been on the job here at New England since January 4th of this year and made it one of his goals to have an in-person graduation. And for that, I do want to acknowledge the dean. He and the team here worked very hard to make this happen. And That's because we know how important it is for all of you to be here with your family and to celebrate the achievements of our class of 2021. Please join me in giving our Dean, Scott Brown, a warm welcome.
Thank you, Chairman Wheeler, and good afternoon, everybody. Can't hear you. Good afternoon. There you go. Well, first of all, congratulations to each and every one of you. I want to congratulate you, your families, your partners, your friends for putting up with, let's be honest, a crazy year, and you survived. You will remember this till you're our age and probably further, because really there's been nothing like it in my lifetime and in your lifetimes, and you will remember this when you have kids and grandkids and reflect how strong and vibrant and adaptable that you all are. And it's been a rewarding opportunity for me coming in the middle of everything. I appreciate your patience and understanding, giving me a little bit of flexibility to get my feet under me so we could get this and other things done. And there was a time, as the chairman said, that we did not know if we were going to have this, but I and the team, we made sure it was a priority because you deserve it. So thank you for all of your efforts, everybody in front of the podium and everyone behind the podium. It's a time where we can come together in this very special and unique year, but it's also, as we all know, been a very challenging time. And everyone receiving a Juris Doctor and Master of Laws degree today should feel a strong sense of accomplishment and pride, as should, as I said, all of your family and friends and partners and your support system. You were instrumental to enabling our graduates to be here today. I would also like to take a moment to recognize the students who have performed with particular distinction. To the awardees who are attending this ceremony, please stand when I call your name, and you're certainly welcome to applaud. Presentation of student awards. The Dean Arthur W. McLean Award for Academic Excellence. This is the top student in the day and night division, the valedictorians as well. We had Sophia Nuno Unanui speak this morning, a very, very powerful presentation. Danielle Walsh will be here speaking to us shortly. So I'd ask you to recognize their accomplishments as the top student in our school. Trustee Bradbury Gilbert Award for Excellence in Achievement. Gabrielle Kathleen Maniero, Sonia Grace Lindquist McCollum. New England Law Boston Outstanding Scholastic Achievement Award. Maya Thomas. Melanie Diane Fox. Gabrielle Muniz. Cambria Rose Beller. The President Anna E. Hirsch Award. Shirley Marie Carrington and Amalia G. Israel. The New England Law Boston Service Award, Christopher A. Costain. So please join me in congratulating all of those student recipients. As I said earlier today, Sophia came and gave a remarkable speech from a remarkable young woman. And our valedictorian from the evening division is Danielle Walsh, who also is a remarkable young woman. Each student will have the opportunity to speak at one of today's ceremonies. As I said, Sophia spoke this morning, and it is now my pleasure to recognize and introduce Danielle Walsh, the valedictorian of the class of 2021 evening division.
Hi, friends. We've come a long way, and I don't need to tell any of you that it was difficult. While we all expected long hours studying, and my cohort from the evening division anticipated the added difficulties of balancing work and family and law school, I bet none of you anticipated doing 3 semesters of Zoom law. I mean, I certainly didn't have it on my law school bingo card when I started 4 years ago. And that's the thing about life. It just keeps happening regardless of what your plans were. We were in our law school routines, we had found ways of making it work, more or less, and then the universe thought that we didn't have enough going on with classes, homework, exams, work, and our families, and decided to just throw a little global pandemic in, for fun. In all seriousness, though, I don't know how COVID has been for everyone in this room, but I imagine we all had the shared experience of feeling isolated, of having our routines upended, of losing contact with everything that was known and familiar, of struggling to stay motivated and focused in classes that took place exclusively over Zoom, and of losing contact with those classmates and professors who formed an integral part of our support systems. And I know that for others, it was much more than that. Some people in this room had to balance their classes with their kids' classes. Others had to care for sick family members. Others were sick themselves. And others lost friends and family to COVID. It has been a time of unexpected and unprecedented difficulty. To have simply endured it is an accomplishment in and of itself. To have finished law school during it, when finishing law school under even the best of circumstances is already impressive, is truly remarkable. We should all be proud of what we have done at such a difficult time. But we didn't do it alone. I know I wouldn't have made it without the support of my family and friends and the professors and staff here at New England. And I'm sure the same is true for many of you. Looking back, there were definitely times when I thought I wouldn't have been able to hobble through the end of a semester without help from so many people in my life. Heck, there were some weeks I don't think I would have eaten without someone else finding food for me, and I certainly would have missed multiple class registration periods without my friends reminding me to register. Thank you, the Arianas and Tim. And I'm grateful beyond words for all of that support. And fortunately for us, we will still have that support as we go forward. Because while we should all be proud, and maybe a bit relieved, in this moment, we must also remember that our journeys are far from over. And I'm not even just talking about the significant bar that is, well, the bar. I'm talking about the struggles that we will face in our new careers as lawyers. Once we are admitted to the bar, we will have the power to make a significant impact in our communities. And we will have to ask ourselves what we will do with this power. Of course, it's not for me to tell anyone here what to do with their law degree, especially when I don't even know what I'm going to do with my law degree. But I want to encourage you all that when you have the opportunity to use what you have learned here to do something as big as making the world a bit better, or something as small as making someone's day a little bit better, you'll take it. The world we live in is so broken. The least we can do is use our positions as lawyers to try and make it better, in big ways or small. But above all, please remember that your legal career is that, a career. It is not your life. Certainly, depending on what you decide to do with your law degree, there may be a lot of pressure, and your career may take up a large part of your time, and your work may be extremely important. But please don't let it consume your life. If COVID has reminded us of anything, it's how important our loved ones are to us and how much we all need each other. As we leave New England to become lawyers, I have no doubt that you all will do great things with your law degrees, but never lose sight of the fact that your mark on this world will encompass much more than your work as an attorney. Thank you.
Thank you for your thoughtful speech. Good food for thought. Congratulations on your accomplishment. At today's 2 ceremonies, we will be awarding honorary degrees to 5 distinguished individuals. This morning, we recognized Karen V. Morton, Executive Vice President and Global Chief Compliance Officer at Liberty Mutual, and John Lang, Chief Experience and Diversity Officer at the Executive Offices of the Massachusetts Trial Court. This afternoon, we'll be awarding honorary degrees to our commencement speaker, the Honorable F. Dennis Saylor IV, who I will introduce shortly, Raymond Leo Flynn, former mayor of Boston, and Ambassador to the Vatican, and Reverend J. Brian Hare, Professor of the Practice of Religion and Public Life at the Harvard Kennedy School. He also served as Secretary of Health and Social Services of the Archdiocese of Boston. I now ask Reverend J. Brian Hare and Richard C. Barty to step forward.
Good afternoon, New England, Boston. My name is Richard C. Barty, class of 1983. It is my pleasure to introduce Reverend J. Brian Hare, the Secretary of Health and Social Services for the Archdiocese of Boston and the Parker Gilbert Montgomery Professor of the Practice of Religion and Public Life at Harvard University's John F. Kennedy School of Government. Reverend Hare was ordained as a priest in 1966. He attended St. John's Seminary in Boston and the Harvard University Divinity School. He is the pastor at St. Paul's Parish in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and a noted religious scholar and teacher of ethics. His work focuses on foreign policy, human rights, and nuclear strategy. His teaching, research, and writing focus on his ethics and foreign policy and the role of religion in both international affairs and in American society. Previously, he served on the faculty of Georgetown University's School of Foreign Service and the Harvard Divinity School faculty. Reverend Hare has also served on the staff of the United States Catholic Conference of Bishops, working on issues of foreign policy and domestic policy, including serving as the staff director of the Catholic Bishops' Pastoral Letter, The Challenge of Peace, 1983. From 2002 to 2003, he was president of Catholic Charities USA, the nationwide network of social service agencies for the Catholic Church in the United States. In the Archdiocese of Boston, Reverend Hare represents Cardinal O'Malley to 4 social service agencies and also serves as a liaison to the Catholic health systems in the Archdiocese. He was a member of the Vatican delegation to the United Nations in 1973 and 1978. At the Harvard Kennedy School, he is also faculty associate at the Carr Center for Human Rights and at the SAFRA Center for Ethics and the Professions. He is a member of the Council on Foreign Relations, the International Institute for Strategic Studies, the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, the American Philosophical Society. He serves on the board of the Arms Control Association and the Round Table for Church Management. Reverend Hare is a noted public speaker and author. His publications include The Moral Measurement of War, A Tradition of Continuity and Change, Military Intervention and National Sovereignty, Catholicism and Democracy, Social Values and Public Policy, A Contribution from a Religious Tradition, and the Moral Dimension in the Use of Force. He has received more than 24 honorary degrees and is widely acclaimed for his work, including as the recipient of the MacArthur Award, the Latre Award from the University of Notre Dame, the American Academy of Religion's Martin E. Marty Award for the Public Understanding of Religion, and the Kennedy School Carbello Award for Excellence in Teaching. New England Law Boston recognizes Reverend J. Brian Hare for his influential work as a public theologian and his contribution to creating a more ethical and just society. Reverend Hare?
Congratulations, Reverend Hare. I ask Raymond Leo Flynn and William M. Casey to now step forward.
Good afternoon. It's my honor to introduce Mayor Raymond Flynn. Raymond Flynn is a veteran who served his country locally, nationally, and abroad. He was the United States Ambassador to the Vatican and Mayor of Boston, a dedicated public servant. Ambassador Flynn's career in public service includes 4 terms in the Massachusetts legislature and 3 terms on Boston City Council. He was elected to 3 terms as the mayor of Boston. During his tenure as mayor, he represented the city on the national stage as both vice president and president of the United States Conference of Mayors. He also served on the 1984 and 1988 Democratic Platform Committees and was vice chairman of the Democratic Platform Committee in 1984. After obtaining a degree in public administration from Providence College in 1963, Raymond Flynn enlisted in the United States Army and served at the Aberdeen Proving Grounds in Maryland and at Fort Dix, New Jersey. He worked as a Suffolk County Superior Court probation officer from 1965 to 1970, where he investigated criminal cases. In 1981, he received his master's degree in education from the Harvard Graduate School of Education. As mayor of Boston, he served as a tireless champion of the working-class neighborhoods of Boston. In dedicating the 191-acre Boston Marine Industrial Park as Raymond L. Flynn Marine Park, then Boston Mayor Martin J. Walsh noted Mayor Flynn's legacy of social and economic justice. Mayor Flynn resigned during his 3rd term on July 12, 1993, when he was appointed United States Ambassador to the Vatican by President William J. Clinton. He served as ambassador from 1993 to 1997. Ambassador Flynn grew up in South Boston and comes from a family grounded in service. He and his wife Catherine raised their 6 children in this tradition. His son Ed Flynn followed in his footsteps in 2017 and served on the Boston City Council. Prior to his public service career, Ambassador Flynn was a role model on the basketball court. A gifted athlete, he was an All-American college basketball player at Providence College and was selected Most Valuable Player in the 1963 National Invitation Tournament during his senior year. In April 1963, he was selected by the Syracuse Nationals in the 4th round of the NBA draft. The Nationals relocated to Philadelphia to become the 76ers. He then joined the Wilmington Blue Bombers of the Eastern Professional Basketball League. Philadelphia then traded his NBA rights to the Boston Celtics in September 1964, and in October he was the last player cut by the then world champions. Ambassador Flynn is a leading lay Catholic voice in the United States, a best-selling author of The Accidental Pope and John Paul II, a personal portrait of the Pope and the Man, as well as a frequent newspaper columnist, national TV analyst, and national talk show host. In addition to the Raymond L. Flynn Memorial Park, Ambassador Flynn has been recognized by Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker, who dedicated the Flynn Cruiseport Boston in his honor. New England Law Boston is proud to acknowledge Raymond L. Flynn for his faith and dedication to public service.
As chairman of the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon Reverend Hare and Mayor Flynn honorary degree of Doctors of Humanities with all the privileges and responsibilities. I now ask the Honorable F. Dennis Saylor IV and the Honorable Peter L. Brown to step forward.
Good afternoon. On July 30th, 2003, Judge F. Dennis Saylor IV was nominated by President George W. Bush to a seat on the United States District Court for the District of Massachusetts. He was confirmed by the United States Senate on June 1st, 2004, and became Chief Judge on January 1st, 2020. Prior to his judicial career, Judge Saylor worked in private practice at Goodwin Procter LLP from 1981 to 1987, and then again from 1993 to 2004. He served as an assistant United States attorney in the District of Massachusetts from 1987 to 1990, and as special counsel and chief of staff to the Assistant Attorney General Criminal Division of the U.S. Department of Justice in Washington, D.C. from 1990 to 1993. Judge Saylor presided over the Central Division in Worcester from 2004 to 2012, when he was reassigned to the Eastern Division in Boston. He served on the Committee on Defender Services of the Judicial Conference of the United States from 2009 to 2015. He also served a 7-year term on the United States Federal Intelligence Surveillance Court from 2011 to 2018. Judge Saylor received his Bachelor of Science from Northwestern University and a Juris Doctor from Harvard Law School. Judge Saylor is an adjunct professor of law at Boston University teaching trial advocacy. He co-authors a column on trial practice in Massachusetts Lawyers Weekly. New England Law Boston is honored to award Chief Judge F. Dennis Saylor IV with an honorary degree Doctor of Laws in recognition of his distinguished career in public service and his leadership of the United States District Court for the District of Massachusetts.
As Chairman of the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the honorary degree of Doctor of Laws with all of its privileges and responsibilities. The Honorable F. Dennis Saylor will now provide the commencement address. We are especially grateful to Chief Justice Saylor for joining us today and providing the address for 2 separate ceremonies.
Thank you, Chairman Wheeler, President Brown, and the trustees. I have to say, listening to that, I would give it all up to have been drafted by the NBA, but I'm afraid that was not to happen. I was advised that due to city and state restrictions imposed by COVID, I should limit my remarks to 10 minutes. And I suppose that if Abraham Lincoln could deliver the Gettysburg Address in only 2 minutes, that I could probably make do. This is a very joyous moment for all of you, and we are on the cusp of a very joyous moment for the entire Commonwealth. As I'm sure you know, Governor Baker has announced that effective May 29th, 8 days from today, most of the restrictions concerning the wearing of masks in Massachusetts will be lifted, and the state of emergency in Massachusetts will end on June 15th. The pandemic is, of course, not over, especially outside the United States. It is ravaging India, it is beginning to take hold in Africa, and it remains a grave threat in much of the world. And of course, even in Massachusetts, it has not abated entirely. For the human race as a whole, there is still plenty of work to be done and plenty of heartache still to come. Still, for those of us in Massachusetts, we have great cause for celebration and cheer. We can soon go freely about our business. We can go to restaurants and baseball games, birthday parties, and even to graduation ceremonies and sit where we want. We'll be able to shake hands, to hug one another, and to see each other's faces and to see our friends and family and colleagues smile. I do not need to tell you how hard the last 15 months have been. More than 600,000 Americans have died of COVID. Almost 18,000 in Massachusetts alone. Millions of others have been infected. Even for those who did not become sick, work and school and everything else has been disrupted. Every student in every school, including all of you, have had a diminished experience. And so many of the events that have brought us joy, family gatherings, holidays, weddings, and graduations, have been canceled or postponed. The psychological toll has affected us all. People have been more anxious, more alienated, more unhappy and fatigued. They've been more isolated, more disconnected from one another, from their families, and from our institutions. Many people have reported an overwhelming sense of sadness and loss or a feeling of numbness. One of the reported symptoms of COVID is a condition called brain fog, which some victims have said is like a state of permanent jet lag. For many of us, I think it is an apt description of how we have felt for long stretches over the past year. But now, finally, we can begin to put that all behind us. It's as if we are being unlocked from a dungeon emerging blinking into the sunlight. And like released prisoners, we may be disoriented at first, not sure what to do with ourselves. But that sun is certainly shining. The flowers are in bloom. We're about to start a glorious New England summer, and the Red Sox are in first place. We can look back with pride at some things that have occurred during the pandemic. Perhaps the greatest achievement has been the development of safe and effective vaccines at breakneck speed using cutting-edge technology. Much of that work occurred within a mile or two of where we sit. Vaccines are now available to virtually anyone who wants them for free and usually without a wait. And we can be proud to say that New England leads the world really, in the rate of vaccination. I should add that I'm particularly proud of my own court and its response to the pandemic. We never closed. We could not close. We had to cobble together ways to handle our normal business, such as arrests, hearings, jury trials, sentencings, and to do that in real time while the court continued to operate. We were forced to rethink everything we did, including some things that courts have been doing since the Middle Ages. In effect, we had to redesign and reconstruct the airplane while we were still flying it. But there will be time enough to look back and to see what we did right and what we did wrong. For now, this should be a moment of optimism and hope. Now, some people seem to think it's wrong, or maybe it's just embarrassing to feel optimistic or to express pride in the achievements of our people and our country. It's fashionable, I think, in some quarters to be ashamed of our past and angry about our present and pessimistic about our future. But you don't need to worry about being fashionable. For all of our flaws, we should be proud of who we are and what we have accomplished. Our country is a great success, in many ways the greatest success in human history. We have problems, to be sure, serious ones. We have many, many things to fix, and I don't just mean the potholes and the bridges. And we should not be afraid to look at the past with a clear eye and to remember the injustices, honor the victims, and to learn from our many mistakes, and to correct the injustices of the present. But we are at core a wonderful country with unbounded opportunities, one that continues to reward hard work and risk-taking, one that provides justice to its citizens through its courts, imperfectly to be sure, although not so imperfectly as some seem to imagine. And despite our many flaws, our country remains great. Yogi Berra supposedly said that the future ain't what it used to be. And in some ways that's true. The world is always changing. It has changed in the last 15 months. It will change again in the next 15 and in the 15 after that. The world will always present new opportunities and new challenges, and some doors will close while others will open up. But today, or next week at least, a multitude of doors are opening again. The fog is lifting. As new graduates, you have a path before you and the sun is shining on it. So go forward with optimism and hope. Help us to build, not to destroy, to fix, not to vandalize, to heal, not to wound, and to come together, not to be driven apart. The future is there for the taking. And when the day comes, take off your masks, shake off your brain fog, take a look at the great big wonderful world all around you, and most of all, maskless, not socially distanced, as close to your family and friends as you want to be, smile. You made it. Congratulations. God bless you all. God bless your families. And God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Justice Saylor. Now is the time you've all been waiting for. When you come up to the stage, please be sure to bring your diploma and your name reader.
And when you come up also, you're going to meet and greet the chairman of the board, and then you walk across the front, greet me. You're welcome to take off your mask, certainly. We have a photographer right here, which we will get pictures to you. And here we go. Will the candidates for the degree of Juris Doctor and the candidate for the degree of Master of Laws please rise? On behalf of the faculty of New England Law Boston and by its authority, I certify that the candidates standing before you have fulfilled the requirements set by that faculty for the receipt of the degrees of Juris Doctor and Master of Laws. On this roll is recorded the recommendation of the faculty that said degrees be conferred.
By virtue of the power and authority delegated to me as Chairman of the Board of Trustees and on behalf of the Corporation of New England Law Boston, I confer upon each of you the aforementioned degrees and admit you to all the honors, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto.
Will the Juris Doctor and the Master of Laws candidates please step forward to receive their diplomas?
Brian E. Alabiosi. Pardon me, Alabioso. So, put it right here. Nicholas Bakis. Morgan E. Calderon. Amber M. Burke. Timothy W. Bamford. Brittany V. Batalino. Austin J. Birch. Chelsea N. Bishop. Michael Black. Faiza Bokhari. Michael A. Brake, Jr. Kimberly Calabro, cum laude. Sarah C. Chassie. Arlia N. Cook. Christopher Costain. Jenna D'Angelo, cum laude. Farah Dolcius. Melanie Falzone, cum laude. Melanie Diane Fox. Kevin France. Zachary Frisch. Kevin J. Gosilla. Dylan W. Jarvis. Lawrence J. Ibbotson III. Colleen M. Howard. Anne Hoppy. Marcus D. Holmes. Hannah Haven. Lane L. Hanlon.
Abby Grolian Di Benedetto. Carly J. Grant, cum laude. Julia Rose Goyette. Jody Keenan, cum laude. Kristen D. Kelly. Nicholas M. Louise, cum laude. Michael A. Massey. Lisa M. Mejia. Andrew G. Minarowitz. Carlos Monroy, cum laude. Magdi Nawar. Tram T. Nguyen. Stephen Michael Rupinski. Miles C. Rubin. Cynthia Rosario. Amanda L. Regal. Heather A. Sukas. Julia Sophia Pamela, magna cum laude. Brian M. Peebles. Bettina Isabel Pancho. Jessica M. Savino, magna cum laude. Carmen C. Stacy. Shayla Marie Stevens. Ariana N. Stubbs. Maya Thomas. Alicia Lauren Toussignon. Michael Thomas Travers. And Danielle Walsh, summa cum laude.
There are students who were unable to attend today, but we want to recognize their amazing accomplishments and hard work. So bear with me, I'm going to put these on. I can't believe I wear glasses, okay. Cameron Ali, Samantha Bazarewski, Alexandra N. Brewer, Sophia C. Buonomo, Hallie B. Bushman, Lauren E. Caldarella, Noel Y. Cho, Kyle E. Cullen, Yu Yi Deng, Jeffrey J. Devine, Mary Ellen R. Fitzgerald Board, Chelsea A. Goodale, Lauren E. Haddad, Mathry S. Jodry, Claire D. Kaula, Matthew S. Lacey, Margaret Mary Lynch, Gabrielle C. Maniero, Sonia G. McCallum, Stephanie M. McCumber, Danielle P. McGeary, Lauren E. McGee, Cody R. Mock, Ryan W. Mulane, Michael R. O'Keefe, Abdel-Jabir M. Razak, Grace Roadhouse Barberina, Tristan K. Sheetiger, Rachel L. Simeon. Congratulations to them and congratulations to each and every one of you.
Well done, graduates. I now ask Reverend Hare to come forward for the benediction. Will you all please rise?
As we close this wonderful afternoon, I suggest we take 10 seconds in respectful silence to remember those locally, nationally, and globally who have lost their lives in this past year and pray for their families. and now a blessing. May the God of truth grant you wisdom in your professions. May the God of justice grant you compassion for all those you serve. May the God of love animate every day of your personal and professional lives. And may the God of peace grant us all peace in this city, in this nation, and in this world. May God bless us on our way.
Thank you, Reverend Hare. On behalf of all of us at New England Law Boston, congratulations to each of you on a job well done. You have so much to be proud of.